When you're a kid, the holidays feel like forever. You don't think about time or loss or who's not going to make it to the table next year or this year. All you do as a kid is show up and everything feels magical. But when you get older, especially when you're healing, the magic changes and it kind of fades. You walk into the same rooms, but they don't feel the same. Someone's chair is empty. Someone's voice is missing. And even if you're surrounded by people, you feel like this quiet ache is inside, like you're grieving a version of yourself that you're never going to get back. And on today's episode of Healing with August Wild, we're going to talk about that feeling. We're going to talk about why the holidays feel different when you're healing, why nostalgia feels stronger than ever during the holidays, and why you find yourself replaying old memories or trying to reconnect with the time of your life that felt simple, safe, and whole. If you're someone who's lost loved ones, outgrown old friendships, or traded years that you can't get back, or if you're someone who looks around during the holidays and realizes you've changed more than you know, this episode of Healing with August Wild is for you. Let's go ahead and get into it. A few months ago, my family lost our grandfather, and first of all, rest in peace to my grandfather, but I'm fortunate enough to say that in my lifetime, this is the first major loss in the immediate family, and it's heavy because my wife and I were in Portugal celebrating our 1-year anniversary, and the day before we left Portugal, we found out we were pregnant. And the day after we got back, we found out that my grandfather wasn't going to make it to the end of the year. And my wife and I were at home. We were having a Harry Potter marathon. And that very next day, I saw my grandfather in the hospital. I got to talk to him, and I told him, even though it was early, I told him that we were expecting a child in June 2026, and he passed away. He passed away a few weeks after that, and I saw my family all in the same room, even though it was a hospital room. I saw them all more than I had ever seen them in over a decade. And it's strange to say this, but I felt like my inner child was yearning for reconnection with my family. Like, a lot of the memories that I had as a kid started to come back from the times at my grandpa's house, or my grandma and grandpa's house, specifically during the holidays. We stopped getting together when I went to college, and now I understand like the emptiness that I've been feeling around the holidays. So on this episode of Healing with August Wild, this is the part where I use AI to interview me to discuss more about what this feeling is and where it can possibly come from.
When you think about your grandfather now, not the moment you saw him, not the hospital, but who he was in your life, what emotion rises to the surface first before anything else?
I knew my grandfather as a funny guy, but also like the glue of my mother's side of the family. I mean, my grandmother too, of course, but like we all got together under his roof, and he always had his own way of passing wisdom to us. It wasn't very conventional. It wasn't like he would sit you down after you scraped your knee and say, "Let me tell you why this is about life." That just wasn't who he was. He would say things subtly and move on. And it's not something that you would understand in that moment, or at least for me, I wouldn't understand it for years to come, but I get it now. And now I understand that he loves his family and he cared about us deeply.
As you think about becoming a father, what parts of your own childhood holidays do you hope your child will get to experience?
Wow.
Even if your family doesn't look the same anymore.
See, I don't know if I want my child to. First and foremost, I want to say that like I'm very, very fucking excited to be a dad. Like, I feel like I'm ready to give my child a great life. Not a life that I didn't have. I'm not trying to like substitute or live through my son or my daughter. I don't know what they are at this point. But to answer your question, I don't want to give my child parts of my holiday. I want my child to have their own experiences that, of course, are shaped by the guidance of my wife and myself. But my goal isn't to like relive my life through my baby. With that being said, though, I will say that I want my child to feel like every month throughout the year is a reason to celebrate. There's something to do every single month. And the holidays are just like the icing on the cake. I feel like part of the mistake a lot of us make is we only look forward to one part of life, like a very small part. For me personally, I'll speak for myself. Only looking forward to October through December means that I'm miserable 9 months out of the year. And I want my child to appreciate the holidays, but I don't want them to only look forward to the holidays.
You talked about not wanting your child to chase the holidays or only look forward to a small part of the year. What made you realize that
Right.
you were doing that? That you were tying so much meaning to a season that no longer felt the same?
I'm sure most of us have experienced Sunday scaries, which, to my understanding, the Sunday scaries is like this feeling of, damn, I can't believe the fun is coming to an end. I can't believe I have to go back to reality. And to me, that's a major problem because we shouldn't hate reality. We shouldn't hate our job. We shouldn't hate the place that we live. We shouldn't hate our lives. What made me realize that I was doing that is I spent my younger years only wanting to lie about the way I felt and to have as much fun as possible without any responsibilities. Therefore, I did not put the work in to get a job that I enjoy or to do this as my career. And on top of that, the debt was out of control. So now having no responsibility, fun is rare. And when it was ending these days, when the fun is ending, I start to feel major Sunday scaries. It's the same reason why, like deep down, it's kind of the same root of being an alcoholic for me, because alcohol was like a bonding thing. And when I was feeling it wearing off, I would go and get another drink and so on and so forth. So I hope that answers your question.
When you talk about the Sunday scaries, that feeling of the fun ending and reality closing in, do you think the holidays hit different
Mhm.
now because the high isn't covering anything anymore? And what's left is real life asking for your attention.
I think the holidays don't hit the same because most people my age had a similar like skill building upbringing that I had. And I'll explain what that means. Even though it wasn't much, I would just show up to the event and enjoy. And when I say it wasn't much, I mean that in hindsight, right? We would show up and just have fun. And I am now the age that my parents and uncles were when they put the events together. So it's my time to put the events together. But when I was young, all I did was show up. So I never built those skills. So that's what I mean by people my age, I feel like have, not everybody, of course, but some people probably have that similar experience. The holidays aren't hitting because of my lack of effort. And I think there are more people out there in the world in the same boat as I am, but they just probably won't admit that they're in the same boat as I am.
If the holidays don't hit because it's now your turn to create the magic, what kind of effort or presence do you think the younger you wishes the adult you would bring to the table today?
I think it's about traditions. You have to establish traditions, something to look forward to. And for me, it's about like decorating and organizing the house in a way that like feels like the holidays. And I know that sounds typical, but it's real, right? When you dress up in a suit, you can feel the formality of whatever event you're going to. So to me, the holidays kind of start there. Then you decide if you want to watch cheesy holiday movies or have a gathering or whatever the case may be. But like my uncle is having a kickball event for Thanksgiving. And by the time this episode comes out, it would have already happened already. Or I mean, I hope it happens. I'm really looking forward to it. I think that's cool. And that might not be like holiday themed, but it gives you something to look forward to. I know it's holiday season when we all get together for kickball or something like that. I hope that answers your question.
You said the holidays don't hit because you haven't put in enough effort. But here's the pushback. A lot of the disappointment you feel isn't about effort, it's about unrealistic expectations. As kids, the bar for joy was low: show up, eat, play. As adults, the bar becomes impossibly high. No wonder it feels different. It's not that you're failing, it's that you're comparing your current reality to a version of the holidays that required zero work from you. The real issue is that you're expecting adult holidays to feel like childhood ones. But adult joy comes from different ingredients.
See, but it doesn't have to be all that. You don't need excessive decorations and expensive gifts, but you do need something. Like I said earlier, the bigger issue is people are miserable most of the year, most of the time. And not every situation is like easily changeable. I understand that, but it's not enough of an excuse to not find joy or some type of joy in your life. Like you got to build a habit of finding joy, and over time the holidays will be a byproduct of what we're talking about.
Joy isn't just a personal habit, it's a relational ecosystem. You can be the healthiest, happiest version of yourself. But if the people around you aren't practicing joy, aren't creating connection, or aren't willing to participate, your effort hits a ceiling.
Right.
You can build the habit of joy, but joy requires interaction to thrive. Think about childhood. You weren't joyful alone, you were joyful in a system.
Right.
That's what's missing for most adults. You can do everything right
Mm.
on your end, but if the people around you don't show up,
Mm.
don't contribute, don't prioritize connection, then you're carrying something
Right.
that was originally meant to be shared. The holidays don't feel the same, not because you aren't joyful, but because the ecosystem that
Okay.
made joy easy no longer exists.
Here's what's ironic though, like who makes that ecosystem? I don't think kids make that ecosystem. That, like I said earlier, my uncles and parents made that ecosystem. So therefore, adults have the ability to make the ecosystem, but they just don't do it for themselves. I think that I understand the selflessness behind that, and that's very respectable, but they should do it for themselves as well. Like, to me, it makes no sense that your children, you're able to put on all this for your children, even though you secretly hate the holidays. And then by the time they're 18, you say, all right, I'm done. Like, I just feel like that's a miserable experience. Some of the people I know who had kids, they had kids at like 20, 21. So you're telling me by the time you're 40 years old, you just hate the holidays now? Like this might sound harsh, but I'm sharing something that I've personally gone through. Other people's actions are not your fault, but the people you choose to hang around with it is your fault, and that is within your control. If you're finding joy in things and the people around you are trying to bring you down, then you should try to talk to those people about it. And if they won't change or don't change or can't change, then don't go to them for your joyous spirit. You know what I'm saying?
What you said is true. You can choose better people. But not everyone has the emotional freedom, support system, or life stability to replace their community, even when that community drains them. So yes,
Right.
choose your circle is powerful advice. But it's also advanced advice, the kind you only truly embrace after you've gone through the fire and rebuilt yourself. For many
Fair
listeners,
enough.
replacing people feels impossible.
And of course, I think that their truth is valid. When I do these episodes, I'm talking in general. I can't speak to specific examples, but I would love to hear specific examples. And if they want advice, I would love to be able to have that conversation. If you have an example that doesn't fit what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments. But I have to say, if you are in one of those special circumstances, I would try your best to write out steps and things that you need to change your situation, because nobody deserves to be in a kind of environment where you're stuck and you're trapped and you have no way out. That sounds like not only a terrible experience, but a miserable one. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that are like that. So if you're out there, now we move into another segment called A Better Mindset to replace this current mindset. I call it Create What You Miss. The holidays don't feel the same because I'm remembering a version of life where I did not have to do any of the work. And instead of chasing that feeling, or instead of comparing myself, I'm going to try this. The holidays are not supposed to feel the same. They're supposed to feel new, brand new. I'm meant to create what I miss. What do I mean by that? As a kid, traditions were handed to me. And as an adult, traditions are supposed to be built by me. So when I stop expecting the past to repeat itself, I end up freeing myself, and I hope that you can free yourself to build something better. Better moments, calmer spaces, my own version of peace, my own intentional joy, my own yearly rituals, like my own reasons to celebrate. I'm not trying to recreate my childhood. I'm trying to give my future child, my wife, my siblings, my family, something to look forward to that's rooted in who I am right now. So the mindset shift is this. For you out there listening, don't wait for the holidays to feel magical. Make your regular life meaningful and let the holidays be a bonus. Let the holidays be an icing on the cake. From January through September, I want you to feel alive. I want you to feel purposeful. I want you to feel connected and honest. October through December, I want you to stop carrying all the emotional weight and I want you to enjoy yourself. The goal isn't to chase the holiday magic. The goal is to build a life where joy isn't seasonal. Because once you do that, the holidays stop feeling like a test that you're failing and they start feeling like a celebration of life that you're already living. Let's move into the frequently asked questions segment. And when I say frequently asked questions, these are questions that I have asked AI that they have helped me answer and helped me understand. So let's move into the very first one. Why do I feel sad around the holidays even when nothing is wrong in my life? The answer that AI gave me was because the holidays remind you of everything that used to be true. Even if life is good, healing makes you more aware. And what does it make you aware of? In my experience, healing has made me aware of what I missed, the moments I missed, and how much time has passed. When I look back at my life, something as simple as playing a video game or a game with my cousins, in that moment, I'm sure there was a lot of complaining, a lot of fighting. But when I look back, especially because I'm healing, I'm like, man, I wish I would have appreciated those moments more. And that also means you become aware of the innocence that you outgrew or the version of yourself that no longer exists. According to psychologists, they call that like nostalgic grief. And it's this feeling of being grateful for the past while mourning the fact that you can't go back there. And so for everybody who's asked this kind of question, just understand that you're not broken, right? You're finally present enough to feel the emotions that you used to feel and you're just healing through them. Question number 2, how do I stop comparing the holidays now to when I was a kid? AI said this. By accepting that those childhood holidays weren't magical because of decorations or gifts, they were magical because you weren't responsible for anything. And this is how I interpret that. Our parents, grandparents, your elders, whoever is listening, they created the atmosphere. And all we did was show up and participate. So now it's our turn, right? The key is not to recreate something. It's create something new, something that fits your current life, your current situation, your current family and emotional needs. It's important that you understand that traditions might have passed, but they don't necessarily die. They just evolve, and they evolve with you. The sooner you allow adulthood to have its own magic, the easier it becomes to stop comparing and to start creating. Question number 3. What if the people around me don't care about the holidays or don't put forth any effort? AI had this answer. You can't control anybody's effort, but you can control your environment. I'm going to say that again. AI said you can't control their effort, but you can control your environment. So this is my interpretation of that. You have to start creating tradition. I said this earlier. You have to start creating small traditions for yourself that then grow into you and your partner or you and your immediate family. Me personally, I decorate my own space, or my wife is very good at inviting me to decorate the space because she's much better at decorations than I am. You have to start like inviting people to casual gatherings. Start by building these small habits of joy that aren't dependent on other people. And if someone consistently drains your spirit and refuses to show up, you shouldn't have to cut them off necessarily, but you can stop giving them your joy because you deserve to feel excited. You deserve to feel connected. You deserve to build a life where the holidays feel like a bonus and not like a burden. So finally, some takeaways that I've learned throughout this episode. The holidays don't feel the same because I'm an adult now. I'm supposed to create the magic. And honestly, maybe I was just lazy. Maybe I was spoiled to the idea of somebody else creating the environment for me. And now I have to create that environment for other people. And that's where the joy comes from. I also learned that nostalgia isn't a sign that I'm stuck. It's a sign that I'm healing. Missing the past doesn't mean that I'm failing in the present. What it means is that I'm finally grounded enough in my life to feel the emotions that I wasn't understanding in the past. I also learned that it's important to not wait for the holidays to feel that holiday magic. I need to build a life of daily joy, of daily magic, of daily practice as much as I possibly can. Finally, specifically for the holidays, the goal is not to recreate your childhood. It's to give your future, your legacy, your future child something new to look forward to. You're not trying to repeat history. You're trying to write the next chapter and then pass down that chapter in that book for your kin, for your family, for anybody that you love and care about. Thank you for listening to another episode of Healing with August Wild. I am August Wild. I'm a hip hop artist from California. I'm on a mission to learn and grow with my audience and build something new. If you like this episode, or even if you didn't like this episode, I would encourage you to leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what I can improve on, or something that you would like to hear more of. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll catch you in 2 weeks.